under his one-on-one kicking brand. He is also one of the top college and NFL evaluators for specialists. McCabe is a former All-American punter at Illinois State University under Coach Urban Meyer. So please join me in welcoming Coach Mike McCabe.
Thank you. I appreciate y'all coming. So I drove all the way down here after a 10-hour drive from Texas doing the combine for 30-minute teams and all the CFL teams. So, Kaare Vedvik, you may want to give him a hand. He just signed with the Buffalo Bills. Him when he went to his draft and team, they can't decide to do with them. He's able to find a good home where they took him exactly where his abilities lie. So just punting a kickoff and long field goals that I can never have like. I also have Kenny Allen, who is former Michigan punter. Stand up, Kenny. We're working on getting him in the CFL and also into the NFL. I train a lot of high school kids, a lot of college players, but we kind of do our program a little bit different. We don't do combines. I was the first originator for the combine industry. I started it. I wish I didn't, but I did. And everyone else kind of took it from there, which is good. It's good for kids to compete and everything else. We kind of work a little bit differently. We train full time. It's rare that you're going to get a bad player from us. And if you do, hopefully mom and dad don't get upset if we make him run 20 stadiums when he gets home. So we work as a program where everything is muscle memory and drill segments. That's why we're successful with many of our players getting scholarships. And actually our ratio the past 2 years has been 50% of our players are making the NFL. So Ty Long, AJ Cole, I'm sure y'all heard Johnny Hacker, Ryan Allen, who played for the Patriots for many years, Pat O'Donnell, and many, many more. So we have a lot of kids that are coming out that are graduating. If you're looking for recruits, I have AJ Reed from Duke looking for a home. And Nick Null. Every NFL team told me they wanted to see him this year, and they didn't get him. So if you're looking, I most definitely get him because they're going to be in the draft next year. So they're both great players. And we can always get on our list. We grade our players not by stars. We do it by A, B, C, and D. A is what? FBS. B goes on down. And that's just because we rate them on the basis of their ability and their work ethic and how hard they're going to work. We train our kids in speed training. Corey will even tell you at times we do a lot of stadiums. And that's how we gauge our players if they're really working hard or not. So you know what you're getting as a coach. And especially the player academically. We also are doing a preview, which I'm going to give you all, a new kickoff team. I don't back a lot of things. The reason being, because most of it's crap. And I've been through every kickoff team in the world. Will Riker had a micro tear to sit flexion at ground zero, which is
Appreciate it.
classic. So I was fortunate enough to be introduced to a shaker, who's the creator of
You told me earlier.
this launch pad. I want you guys pass it around and feel it. And you tell me what's the difference between ground zero or any kickoff team that is out there in the country. I have my pro shoes. And Mr. Vedvik, was it your first or second kickoffs? From the 30, put it 5 out the back of the end zone. For ground zero, he was hitting 8. So the problem is, in the front of that list of that cup, it clips. So you're losing distance and hang time, the ball spinning too fast. We like to lean our ball just a little bit forward. And this is built, and I'll show you how it's done. Sir? It's pretty simple. And we're going to have a video that's going to come out on YouTube. It'll be all over social media. Most kickoff tees that you have are going to be like this when you have it. Okay? So we're able to have this lean just slightly forward, which we like as specialists, okay? And look at that sweet spot. You can't miss it. Okay? The ball expands tremendously, a lot more than it does any kicking tee that we film. And we lay down the ground, we get microseconds on it. I have a
kinesiology app that we're doing on it, and it's phenomenal. It's great for onsides. Pooches, fantastic. Didn't we switch it around the other way? We went this way with it, we turned it this way, we turned it that way. I mean, it's great. There's a lot of trick shots you can do with this. And we're gonna keep repeatedly coming out online with how to use it. So you guys have that free information, it doesn't cost you anything. And I think to get this is maybe $27, and if you use our, I think it's one-on-one is the code, then you'll be able to get a percentage off on it. I have 80 of them, so they were very kind to send them to me, and I'm using them like crazy. Why? When the ball lifts and comes off, it comes out like this, clean. Nothing hits it. Zero. The wind blows, you don't have to waste that extra lineman to do what? That leaves me an extra hole as a returner to hurt you. How much time is it going to take him to get out of that position to get there? So that's the great thing. We had it measured up to about 18, almost, yeah, roughly around 18 miles an hour, 20 miles an hour, and every other ball would fall over. This would not. So it's a great product. The only thing that would be different for a player is when they see it, they're going to see the back ass of the ball, and it freaks them out because they're not used to seeing it. So you put tape there, and then you go, oh, okay, it's a mind thing. So don't let that interfere them. We always want to have their plant not here, but the pad of their foot here, if that makes sense, on a white line. So if I have a white line that's here, the tee is going to be here, and I'm planting here on the pad of my foot. I'm going to have more drive and more explosion up through the ball. Okay? So everyone's seen Rodrigo Blankenship kick. I train that young man, works hard, and loves this thing. So our next move is to get it in the NFL. So I just want to let you all know it's out there, and if you want it, it's right on the back of this. You can pass it around and write down the website and email and get in touch with the company. So what we're going to teach you today is our drill segments. We don't show anybody, we don't put it online, I do it here only, just because a lot of people like to steal your information, and then usually they're coaching incorrectly. Punting is probably the most difficult and complicated thing I've ever done. I played quarterback, tight end, and punting was probably the hardest thing. Kicking was probably the most simplest thing, except when you miss. Coach Meyer's not too nice when you miss. So I'm going to have Kenny and both my coaches here, Coach Vedvik, work on what we call our ball reception drill. We do 100 of these a day. Okay? I have pros that moved to Birmingham and stayed there for 6 months, and we train nonstop every day. Speed training, weight training, pull, yoga, you name it. Ice machines. What are those little cool things you guys stand in? What are those called? Cryo, yes. Yeah. I tried once, and my valve ended up freezing in my heart. It was great. That's a joke, guys. Come on. I died once. It was almost twice, and we're going to your punters have to do this. I'm just telling you. From this, you can do anything. We can do a liner to the right side, a Liz liner, which is across field. We can do knuckleballs. We can do banana punts. We can do an Aussie. We can do the hook. Inside, the hook goes this way. And what we train our player to do is to directionally punt as close to the sidelines as possible. Why? I want to eliminate my return game, period. I never run those Aussies, but guess what? When they get to the pros, guess who they come to? Me. So I can teach them how to punt. Traditional, directional, if that makes sense. So, Corey, come on up. So Corey and Kenny are going to take it from here. They're going to do ball reception drill. I'm going to let you talk about his training and pro experience along with his, because that's how you learn. Then after we do the punting segments, we're going to do kicking. From there, we're going to do a audio for coaches that would want it or need it. And that will be done after I finish the launch pad video that we're doing. and then we'll be able to send that out to, actually I can send it to the FCA, is that correct? And then you guys can use that for you guys to have in your coaching meeting. So at least I know it's safe there. Okay? So ball reception drill, coach, it's all yours.
Okay. You want to talk through what we demonstrate?
No, go ahead. This is all you, man.
All right, so for the first few, when you said we get to the field and we do about 100 of these each day. So right now, all we're doing is, as punters, the biggest thing and the first thing that you want to do is catch the ball clean, catch it smooth. And so right now, we're just working on catching it and molding it. So our grip, every punter might hold it just a little bit differently. Right now, we're just really dialing in, getting our grip and getting our catch smooth.
Now, the one thing that you notice, how many of you guys, it looks like the ball's straight, right? So let me show you something real quick. If I'm holding this, I'm looking at the inside logo or the nipple. To me, it looks straight, but to you, it's 5 degrees, okay? Well, anybody does this, don't sign. Anybody does this, set the pocket, and really don't sign. You're gonna have a 25-yard punt, okay? We want it here, and the only reason is this. As I'm here, and this left arm comes off, where's the ball going? Right over my leg. And it's gonna hit what panel? Every single time.
Okay.
So the next drill we do is we're catching, molding, working on the same step, and then we're going into the next process. It's taking our first step.
As fast as they can. They're going to catch and mold and take their first step. And we walk and punt. We don't teach the whole basis of big strides. The reason being is a player has a long first big stride. Their momentum is going to carry that second stride in the same pathway. It's always going to happen. This quad's going to come where? Out and over, and that's why they cross over. So when we have them walk, we're just walking through and pop right through the ball. We keep them at 3 to 40 yards in the NFL because block zone is almost 10. And realize that made them so much more powerful and accurate and consistent. Anybody that's past 4.5 yards, you got to look at that jab step. Jab cannot be any longer than a half a foot unless you're running for your life. Okay? You can do it, you get away with it, great, but you're not going to make it. You're not going to make it. It's going to be tough. Go ahead. Corey does speak, by the way.
Do speak. I should listen to you on this stuff.
No, go ahead.
Okay, so the next one is the second step float drill. Scoop them up. So on this one, we're working on just the float. And on the float, you want to make sure that the ball stays still. You don't want the nose to drop. You don't want it to tail. So we do it as partners usually. So you'll stand there, and it's the last step of the progression. So you're focusing on the center here.
Now, see how he keeps walking forward? The reason we don't stop, if we stop, that creates what? A break. So if I'm braking, that means I have to sit and hit it, okay? So we have our guys roll through it, just like they're punting. So they have to reach for it. If I don't, and I brake, this stops. There's no pep. But if I keep going through it, I walk through it. The ball's gonna keep going forward.
It's all about, for us, building the habit of getting everything downfield, everything, momentum, just the ball drop. Because if you stop, you have a tendency to sit back, like you said, and we want everything floating forward downfield.
He at the gridiron hit a 5.5 and a 5.43. And 20-mile-an-hour gust winds, that's hard. And he had over 7 punts over 5.0. About 3 yards to the sideline, 2 yards out of bounds. That's good enough to play in the league.
What's the tallest progression?
Yeah, second step float drill. Six steps. So you notice how everything is broken into parts here. You start by doing the catch and mold drill, and the reason is it's so important for punting to perfect every single part of the progression as a punter, because it's such a fine technical craft. From personal experience, I'm an athlete that came over. I did track and field in Norway on a national level, and I noticed I can kick further, higher. I'm faster than a skilled person on the team, and I noticed that with punting, I'm like a 1 out of 10 guy. I would spiral the ball 1 out of 10 times. I'm like, why did that happen? So it was my sophomore year where McCabe came in Marshall, where I was a player, and at the time the coaches had made me a wide receiver because I was like, even people at skill position stuff. He told my head coach and said, don't make him a wide receiver, he's going to be an NFL punter. I said, screw punting, you're just kicking the ball. But at the time, as I said, it was so frustrating to me to be a punter because it was so hard to get consistent. So it wasn't before I met him and I learned these things, which honestly, I hate to do it, but it's kind of what helped me actually become a good punter. And without it, I wouldn't be as consistent as I am now, and it's impossible. So this is what's going to make you take the next step as an athlete within the field of punting. It's how you become as a great Division I punter or great
All of us grew up with, I grew up with Humphreys and many of the kicking camps and everything else, and we all grew up with the same, like everyone's doing this, like 20 different things. Listen, I'm a punter, dude. I want the simplest way to get it done.
Right.
Just like in mathematics, you have shortcuts, right? To get my end result. And that's what we're teaching.
And I know like a lot of guys in school, especially the young guys when they come in colleges, because I was one of them, you know, if I had a bad day punting, I'd stay out there, hit more full punts, and you know, no one could really give me the answers as to why I wasn't doing it, so I was kind of stuck by myself. Now, these tools that we're kind of given to the young guys that we start training, it's changing the game of punting. Now you're seeing guys, freshmen, sophomores averaging 47 yards a punt, and it's no coincidence that it's the same guys that are kind of doing these drills. And when we have camps, we can tell who doesn't do it, because the guys who've been doing these drills, they're hitting, you know, the best punts on a consistent basis. And the guys that haven't been doing the drill work, you know, you can tell. And so it makes the world a difference for us. See this one, the liners.
No, next one is second step float. You did that? Full step drill. That's this one. If that knocks you out, that would be fun. We'll upload the signature. Here you go. So I'm going to stand here, and I'm going to whip it to them fast, because if you get snaps, they come real quick to your body. A lot of punters bring it inside. We're going to teach them not to bring it inside and catch it out. You can't get anything quicker than something this close. I mean, unless you get a judge machine.
I'll better catch it.
I'm not going to back up that hard. Just back up a yard. I mean, a little harder. Okay. And then here we do it from side to side. Low, high, up here. What do we do if it goes over our head? If it goes over our head, we scoop around. Alabama did not do this. We've been taught to do this, but he didn't do it. You look, you see who's here, here. Scoop, run, or hit. You never run straight back, because he got a direct line to you. So make it hard for him. So here we go.
Full step.
Full step. Walk all the way through. Cut it inside. Good float. Cut it inside. Lose your job doing that. Hands out. Now. Better. There you go. Now we'll do 100 of these as well. There you go. We'll throw knuckleballs in like this, because we want them to do what? Motor hand skills as fast as we can. And we're always looking for what? The laces. We're going to count the rotation. You got to do this with the Buffalo Bill snapper. So the snapper will know if his laces are on top or not. If he's at a 4 rotation, it's a slow snap. If I'm at 3, I'm good to go. Okay? So that's the last segment drill. We now also have another drill that we do, which is extremely important, called our 1.5 step explosion drills. I'll have these gentlemen do a 1.5 step explosion drill with a football, and they'll put it 80 yards because they have a lot of power. Your drop span's shorter. A lot of problems that players have is when they are releasing the ball as they're coming through. This leg is about right here, and the ball's coming out, and their arms are up right there. So the ball's not going to go forward; it's going to descend. We have our players releasing the ball just before they what? Plant. So then I get the most immediate explosion and urgency to the ball. So my drop's not this; it's this. And I can place it where I want. So I can be a 50% punter and turn into a 90% consistent punter by doing that.
And so one of the biggest things for the one-step explosion drill is, especially when I started learning it, I moved down here in September to train with him, and I had never really done one step before, and I was so bad at them, it was embarrassing. So my thing was, I was trying to hit every single punt as hard as I could. But the point of the one-step drill isn't to go out there and kill the ball. So if you teach it to your guys, punters and kicker, like stress it, it's not about trying to hit the 5-0, big ball. For that, it's all about the contact and just, correct form. And from there, when they start turning the ball over every time, then it kind of just builds the habits. So one-step drill is just for good form.
Now, I do a lot of work with many universities. I go to universities and I help out coaches, coaches, even the players. Penn State, Lake Gilligan, training, and many others. So, if you need help on any of that, or just sending us film, we're all in. We don't charge to help your athlete to break down his film, to help him with his film, to help him with his drill work, to help him succeed, to be consistent. As a player, same with Ohio State, Drew Frisman. So a lot of Will Hart, and many other punters that we train around, or kickers that we have across the country. So I'm going to snap this, and he's going to go through and do a 1.5 step. Well, let's do it without snap. Do a 1.5, and he's going to put his right foot out in front of him more. We use this in the back of the end zone instead of doing a traditional one step, and we have more power. Okay. So as he's working on this, he's working on jab, right through it. So his right foot's going to be here. You're going to jab just a little, pop right through it. He won't touch you. I got good insurance. Okay. Nose down.
Yep.
You're afraid of kicking over that thing? I think they can afford it here. See the power? So, okay, go ahead.
Oh, shit.
You're great at tennis shoes. You're turning balls over all week last week in tennis shoes. I couldn't believe it.
Full muscle. Yeah, maybe this is a bad idea right now.
Now what are you doing?
You gotta warm up.
I'm not warmed up.
So, and we do that without the ball and with the ball. So we'll have the player do 1.5 explosion drills with his right hip quad, probably about 15 times. And then his left side, we're driving our knee quad up. And the reason we do that is so we can both condition both hip flexors. Next thing that we work on with them is we film them from behind their feet. To make sure, one, they're not heeling, they're on the pads. On the pads of my feet, I generate more genetic power than I do if I'm on my heels, which creates brakes. Okay? We don't want to create brakes. We have our punter here. We put our cone at 1 yard and 3.25 yards. So his heel has to be right here. Right on 3.25 yards. You go past that, you got to look for a longer jab, or you'll see a lot of punters, they'll step and they step through on the first step. Inside, right foot open. You better hope he's going directional right to get that hip back in place, so your line has changed. You're going straight down the field. If I'm going directional right and I do this, the ball's going to end up down the alley. Got it?
Don't want to come across. So it's somebody's like, don't want this foot to cross over your line. You want to have space between your legs, and you want to make sure that if you have a view from behind, that you see that he's stepping always towards this direction. If I'm coming in with this foot, then I'm going to have to open up this part. Now my hips are coming down the middle, and I will lose my direction going right, and that's going to be a middle ball.
So if your coverage team's going here and he's screaming, middle, 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 and what are the chances of them really hearing him? Not good. Unless you've got mics in the helmet. So, I don't think they allow that yet. But, and then it's down the alley. And if you got somebody that's good and really reads the field very well, you're done. It's 6 points. So, go ahead. Tell them more about your experiences that you've been through and the drills that you've done and training at our training facility that's in Birmingham.
Is that everything? Mike, so we want to start.
Well, just what you experienced at Cincinnati compared to other teams that you've been to in the NFL.
Okay.
With kicking playing. Well, how about you texting me every day about what you had to go through with Cincinnati?
Okay, so that's the personal experience. So it's like
that you can change?
For me as a person, learning how to have a coach like him for me is tough. It's tough to have someone tell me exactly how to do my job, and as I'm performing the job itself. So I'm more so, tell me the objective, tell me what my job is, tell me if I'm gotta kick it right, tell me if I gotta kick it left, and I will find a way to get that job done. So what are you talking about with the Bengals? Very hands-on guy. Throughout the day, we'll start off, I couldn't warm up my own way. He tells me how to warm up, he tells me how to kick, he tells me how to do everything. So I feel like I lose governance over my craft as my own. The difference now with the team I'm with now is that he's leaving it all to me. He's leaving that responsibility to me alone, which I prefer, and I like it that way.
Which we set a program for him that he's already knows. We do it every single day. Why change it?
Yeah.
Okay, and they're gonna have a drill sheet. You got a GA that's gonna watch this guy. You mark off everything they've done or have not done, and film it. Film their drill work. Let me see it. Especially if they're my kids, I'll kill them if they're not doing it. I mean, that's just the way it is. They got to do it if they're going to succeed in punting. And punting is a lot more complex, especially in breaking down film. We can't do that here, obviously, in the breakdown film session, but and show you, tutorials that we have. Our one-on-one kicking YouTube page, you'll see a lot of stuff that's on there. We don't do a lot of coaching segments online because we just keep everything that we have in house with the guys that we train or with the division owners that we have. So we're very selective. We don't take a lot of kids, maybe 20, 30 each location, and make them good, if that makes sense. So now we're going to go over kickoffs. So this is you. Both you and Kenny. There you go.
So for kickoffs, we have
and their information's in the American Football Conference magazine if you need to see it.
So in kickoffs, we have what we call, mainly what we have is called the 5-3, 5-3.
Yep.
Yeah. So the purpose is, I'll take my 5-6 back, I'll go 3 over, and we're simulating the last step right before you explode through your kickoffs. So what we're working on here is really just you're rolling into it, and you want to focus on the hurdle. Everything's about the hurdle. So that's why when we practice kickoffs, I'll practice it just the last couple steps. You see everyone, like when they do kickoffs, they do kicks a little different. They do 10 yards back, they do 12 yards back, 8 yards back. It's really only to get your momentum and build the momentum. The whole purpose of the kickoff is to use that momentum and get it through the ball in the explosion. That's why, for me personally, I love working on just the last phase of my kickoff. Because I feel like if I can control this last part, this phase right here, then I can use all the momentum that I gather up and I can really, really explode through the ball. So what we want to work on here is that a lot of kickers that I notice that I coach, they make contact too low on the ball. And you will see a lot of fast spinners that will go high and they will land short, like 10-yard line, 5-yard line, so on and so on. If you need to, and I have to need to tell your kicker to stop like spinning the ball, you can leave the finger, you can literally mark off almost up here. And he's still going to hit a little lower. But I usually do this with the kickers, and I tell him, hit the middle part of the ball, let's freaking crush it, So what you want to do, you don't want to see a kicker pick his head up too early as he's coming through. If you see a kicker if you see a kicker go through and he goes like that, he's going to rotate and the ball's going to spin left because he's not staying in the kick. So what you want to see on the kickoff though is like you want to see the hurdle that the person's getting up through the ball, and then he can pick up his head. That means
we want him finishing downfield here. We don't want to see him finish. We take a half round back, put it at 1 yard. So he has to continue to like Rodrigo, nonstop to do it. And with the bag, he'll still put him 10 11 deep. So the bag will be here at 1 yard. And then we make sure that the bag's kind of here. There we go. This is exactly what we use. So we put this at 1 yard. This is fun stuff, guys. I'll tell you. And he's at a yard. So if he's a righty, we're sliding it here. So he doesn't finish here, he has to finish here. Does that make sense? If he's a lefty, we slide it over here. We make sure his launch, we call this your drive step, your kicking leg, is 2 yards from the plant. So we want to make sure we stick that plant spot So when we're kicking, who's got a tee? We're kicking, our plant is not here or too high, but it's here. I've seen these guys hit balls I wish I could hit. 4-5 on kickoff, really. Santosa hit a 4-5, didn't he, Net?
82, 87, 45.
That's a punt. That's a judge machine shot. So here, and drive foot length away, up and through. So I'm using my body weight at contact. I don't want to plant and all my energy go where? To the ground. So then I have to do what? Come across. Sorry, Coach.
I have another major one, like for me, it's also one of the biggest ones. I try to use, jumping, the activity of jumping to explain kickoffs the same way. And I have the kids do this, because you will see a lot of people think that on kickoffs, I gotta jump into the ball and try to kick it as hard as I can. So right before they get to their plant, you will see them leap into their plant. And then basically what's gonna happen is that you're gonna get stuck. All your energy is gonna get transferred to the ground. So you'll see them go and down. So you hear the loud thud of my leg hitting the ground there, that's all my momentum and energy going into the ground. And then they gotta try to work to get up and out of it. So what I try to make them focus on is that you wanna have a soft plant, you wanna step into the plant. You don't wanna jump into the plant. You don't wanna see a big, like that. What you wanna see is a step in. So that just like with jumping, if you're taking off from the line, and I'm trying to jump as far as I can, you don't jump to the line to jump off the line. You step to the line and you jump out of it, right? It's the same thing with kickoffs. To get most of your momentum and explosion through the ball, you really want to step into the plant so that you can almost like really, really get that hurdle going. And that's kind of what I focus on with my kickoffs, and works really well for me. Yeah.
You want to go with a full step without the ball and with the ball?
For pickup?
Mm-hmm. So we break it down in 2 segments. He's going to do dry runs without the ball, 10, and 7 with. That's it. He's done. 10 without the ball. We're working on muscle memory timing, and it should be filmed. So then, if you have an issue, you can send it to anybody on my staff. I know many of you know some of the coaches that we have across the country, and they're going to break it down for you. 10 without the ball, and then 7 with. And out of that 7, you're going to go directional, to your left all the time, or right. Pooches, we do a lot of pooches, 3 in, 3 deep. And then at bell, we got to go to 4-3, 4-4. So these guys don't want it back. But go ahead on full steps.
Yeah, so for full steps, one of the biggest things that we notice, a lot of guys that are inconsistent on the kickoffs, is because their steps aren't dialed in. They're not the same every time. Just could be the same on field goal stuff. So one of the biggest things that we work on too, like when we first got into kickoff seriously, I know this for myself too, I would mark off, all right, have the tee set, and I'd mark off where I want my steps to be. Set a piece of tape down. From there, walk over across, set another piece of tape down. And
Or use shaving cream, that works.
And every time I'm trying to hit the exact same spot, right? Because if I'm off maybe 2 inches there, my plant might be off 2 inches, and that could be, instead of hitting a touchback, it could be hitting a squib kick that's returned. So we do a lot of drill that just really focus up on being consistent with our steps, because we shouldn't be off on our steps. That's it's the only thing we have to worry about at that moment in time. Just be dialed in, have your steps the same, and then from there. Like Corey said, the first few steps are really just to build momentum, but the most important steps are those last 3 steps. That's where you get all the explosion from. And you don't want to be heavy, you don't want to be, you want to be on the pads of your feet. You want to be light going into it, right? And from there, that's where the rest of the drill work comes in. The explosion, getting through, and getting downfield.
How many kids you see that start like this in a game? I'd say 70% of them do. Okay? Let me get that big pranks going, okay? I just wasted 4 yards of my power by doing what? Who could see my heels hitting first? When I could trot this way. I have more power. I have more power to generate. I generate actually 15% more on my kickoff than I do traditionally what coaches are teaching today. Does that make sense? So kids don't stutter in their steps. If they do, trick their mind. If they're starting with the right foot, switch to the left. Or move them up a half a step. And you'll get rid of the step. Okay? I'm trying to think what else we do on kickoffs besides that.
Another thing that helps a lot with our kickoffs, not just drill work, but a lot of stuff that we do in the weight room is very specific to what we do. So speed squats, a lot of the stuff, when I was at Michigan, when we were at the Ravens, a lot of the stuff that we do as kickers translates into the weight room. We might do separate lifts on some occasions. After practice, we're done early kicking. Instead of standing around just watching practice, we'd be back in the weight room doing certain band stretching, doing foam rolling. We're doing all this stuff that is just at the end of the day going to make us more explosive, make us more consistent. So I think that's one of the biggest things, because you don't want to kick off too much. So just like anything, well, if you can't be out there hitting the balls, then you can be doing something that'll help you when you go out to do your full kicks.
Yeah, personally, I do kickoffs at the most once a week. It's such a full body, taxing thing to do that do too much of them can actually lead to a lot of injuries for kickers. For example, is my own personal experience at Marshall. There was a moment when we came in, as we said, we kind of did our own thing. We worked out ourselves, and me and my friend would go out and we would kick all the time. And because my sophomore year, I was simply a kickoff specialist. So I would do kickoffs every single day to the point where I ended up getting back injury. My other kicker ended up getting 2 bulging discs, and our senior kicker ended up also getting a bulging disc because we did so many kickoffs. I had 110 kickoffs that season, and that's only in the game, and I would do about 20 to 30 kickoffs just as a part of my practice, and that's way too much. As Mike said here, now I've learned, I know better. I do about 3 to 4 5-3s just to get focus on getting the solid foot to ball contact.
That's at a pro level, because he's really advanced as much training as we've done compared to a high school player or a college player going through all those years of training.
Right. And then I will go through at the most between 8 to 10 full kickoffs, where I will focus on the directionals, left, right, middle, and I also have a drive ball that I focus on, where I just try to hit the distance. So that's another thing I can say, I guess, that I didn't hear about kickoffs before I got to the NFL, is that in the NFL, when I was with the Ravens, Randy Brown came up to me and he said, when we want you to hit touchbacks, we want the lower hang time balls. And that to me was something I never heard before. For me, it was always about more hang time, the better, the more distance it is. But a lot of times you're going to have some windy conditions, or you're going to need the kicker to really drive the ball. So to help him also focus on that can be a good thing. He'll learn how to drive the ball for more distance, and that's where you want to, might say you don't want to plant deep. So on the drive ball, most of the time I'll plant back here. I feel like I get more elevation on the ball, and I can hit a little higher hang time balls. But if you're really focusing on driving the ball downfield, and you're simply trying for touchbacks, and that's all you want, then you can plant a little deeper, and the kicker's got to be more over the ball and go drive downfield and forward. So on a regular kickoff, you would have seen me go more like up, downfield that way. If I'm driving the ball and trying to hit a distance ball, you'll see me go more downfield, and like see my swing on that one was a little lower and stay flatter. It didn't go as high. So that's the drive ball that we do on kickoffs.
All right, and then so I think we're going to talk about now the field goal progression. So especially for kickoffs too, we'll always do field goals first. Even if we're warming up for kickoffs, we'll warm up usually kicking field goals. So that's one thing that really helps us out. So the first drill for field goals that we do is just called the no step. So you have your blocking. Okay, so they might be hard to see. So let's just set it up. And, so this is this is where we're at for field goals. Okay, our first drill that we do is we have our plant a little bit wider and a little bit pulled back. So I have about my toe even with the middle of the ball right here.
So the seam of that line, guys, is where you want basically like right off the bone of that front big toe. Because all we're doing is contact drill, okay? And he's gonna work on that now as well, and then we're gonna show him the back drill.
Yep. So right here, it's not about, like we said earlier, for the one steps, it's not about power, not about trying to hit 50-yard field goals. All this is working on contact, right? Getting the leg loose. So from here, you know, we have our target. If we're right in front of the upright, from here, all we're doing is nice and easy, focusing on foot to ball contact. And a lot of times we ask kickers, you know, what part of the foot are you trying to hit it off of? And they just kind of swipe at some part of the foot, right? They don't know. That bone right on the top of your foot, right there, that's where you're trying to make contact with every time. Right up there. Okay, so if you guys ask your kickers and they go like that, make sure that when they're doing this drill and they're doing any kicking drills, they're focusing on the contact point.
And that's the one.
You could explain the
Back drill.
That was your mic.
Back drill. You use a half round. You can use this, but half round's better. Sometimes with little handles on it. So I'm going to take this, and I have all my kickers here. I'm sure you heard Kaare Santos and Caleb Sturgis, a lot of guys that have been in and out of the league. So I have my plant the same way, which is going to be top of my bone of my foot, my big toe back here, that's the ball. And we have them do this so it's a muscle memory progression to tell your brain, lock my foot out at this point. So I'm here and I'm up and through. Where's my body going? Through the ball, okay? My NFL guys use this all the time, non-stop. Rodrigo Blankenship loves it. Dude, hey, you're paying for that, bro. Ain't that one. You're good.
Great stuff.
Now, see how easy that is? And his body's going where? He feels it off his foot. Damn, that went off my toe, didn't it? Plant is wide, that's why. So, if his plant's a little bit closer, then he knows what he has to adjust. Okay? That's the back. The next one is one step without a jab. How many times you see your kids do this? They'll jab, one step and kick a ball and hit it 8 yards. That does no good. This is why. You ever seen your kicker leap? Okay? Right leg's gonna walk out. When they leap, right leg goes up. As they come down, all that weight's gonna go where? To the ground. So this knee is coming down. Let's say here's my elbow. My foot's coming through. I'm trying to leave the right way of doing this. Here's my elbow. My knee's coming down. Here's my foot, which is going to be open like this. Okay? So as that knee comes down last, his quad's not coming through, look how much longer it takes for that foot to open up to do what? Make contact. This is why they push the ball out right. Okay? If they glide, what is the word we want to use? Drive out forward, or glide forward, which means you're driving out to your plant here instead of going up and down. Then my butt and my heel aren't connected. So the knee doesn't have to come down first while my body weight's already gone to the ground, mass, and I'm just using my knee to my foot. I don't want that. Compared to being at a 45-degree tuck, my quad comes through. How much meat is on your quad? And then I start using my what? My core and my hip flexors. So when you see that on film, immediately know he needs to be at 45 degrees. He needs to glide out more to his plant. That's what a lot of problem is. A lot of guys in the NFL and colleges, they've never figured that part out. And I do so much film work in kinesiology. I help with many NFL teams. So that's my job, is to figure that stuff out and get it done right, or they don't get paid. So here, when they're doing it with a no step, one step without a jab, you want to show them? You're a 10, no step, no jab. Now, he's going to put 80% of his weight on the right foot because he already took his first step, right? He already jabbed. So he's got to train this quad and these muscles to do the same thing. If I jab, I'm on my toes, I go where? Up. If I learn to do this, I drive where? Out. Whack. See how much smoother that is? Now show them with the jab and how kids love to leap. You see it all the time. It drives you crazy. See how uncontrolled his body is? Okay. You can't really do it anymore, can you?
No.
We got him out of it, so. Okay. That's a huge drill. What we do with that then is from where let's say this is the ball. And here's our plant. I'm a lefty. I'm gonna take shaving cream. 1, 2, 3 steps back. 1, 2, shaving cream here. All the way to my plant spot. I want my guy hitting here and finishing the left corner of that box. Anytime that he does not and he slides here, it's called a fish hook. So he's fish hooking here. And a lot of guys teach that torque real hard. Why? I don't want to go that way. I'm going to go that way. When you play golf, you don't torque like that. I mean, unless you had too many beers at top golf. Okay? You want to come through your hips where? Right to your target. So here, we're doing the same thing. As we come through, go ahead and jump. How do you finish the left corner of that box? Now, where is he finishing? Here. Not here. Here. So I just took, let's say if your kid's 60%, he's going to increase by another 25% in accuracy. So, does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, go through your box again for me, please.
Yeah, the triangle box goes, if I'm a lefty, just like your normal kicking steps. 1, 2, 3. And some guys use field paint or masking tape or athletic tape. 2 over. When I get to my 2 over, I'm going to go right to my plant spot. I'm not going to go to the tee, right there. Okay? Reason being is, you'll see a lot of kids plant and their ankle will do this because they're twisting where? That's because they end up leaping and coming down so hard, they're waiting for that knee to come and the right shoulder drops and I'm either going to pull it or I'm going to push it.
So it's kind of example. So if you're right footed kicker going there,
Yeah, there you
kicking
go.
at the uprights right here, there's your box. You want to finish down the dotted line.
So this here, he went to Michigan. Don't blame him, guys. Here to the plant spot. So we want him finishing here. Anytime he's here, we're in trouble. Anytime he finishes with this right foot in this corner and sliding down this baseline, we are going to be 100% on that field goal. So you'll see when you group your field goals, when you chart the kids, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, what zone they're in. You're going to see your zones like 4 and 5 high. Anybody else have any questions?
How do you film that?
Huh?
You said you filmed it with them when you look at it. How do
We
you film
filmed
that?
this from here. We filmed from down this side to see if he's coming over, and then we filmed from here. So we can see if his jab is going to the plant and not out. And if his drive step is not coming in, we don't want that, because now my lane has changed. My lane originally was where? Here, right? That's my lane. I don't want to step in. I want my right foot stepping where? Right outside that ball. My jab's going right to that plant. I'm using the pad of my foot. I'm planting. And then I'm going to drive right through it. So look and see if they're jabbing outside their plant and stepping in. So now, my lane was here, but now it's here. That's not a good thing. Anybody else?
We're out of time, so we want to thank the coach.